Nicole Workman is with me from Marion County Department of Development and Disabilities. That's hard to say, isn't it?
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a mouthful.
We can say Marion County DD or something?
Marion County DD.
Yeah.
And like on all of our signage and stuff right now, we have MCBDD, but nobody really knows what that is. So that's why I'm here today. We're going to educate. So.
All right. So, Nicole, you've been on my show, I think, three different companies, I think, before, haven't you?
I may have. Randy, did you need to bring that up?
Yeah.
I may have done a little job hopping there for a minute or two, but
I
feel like I'm home.
I'm glad you're home.
Really, really love what I'm doing now and love this work. So
good. Yes. And I want to thank you for sending some great guests, and I've had some really good guests the last few months. Yeah.
Yay, great.
Yeah.
We love what we do. We're passionate.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, Nicole, what do you want to talk about today?
Oh, my goodness. We have so many good things. So we are the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities. So we will talk about that a little bit. And maybe just talk this morning. I actually talked to Jeff. Paul.
Yes.
And so maybe we'll continue that theme. We kind of did a Mythbusters.
Okay.
So we are no longer MARCA. Well, actually, let's back up. We were never MARCA.
Yeah.
We were always the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities, but say that and then say MARCA.
Yeah.
So we always went by MARCA.
Okay.
So, but they were a tiny little bit of what we had to offer at the County Board of DD. They did some day services, and then we also had some industry occupational programs there as well. But they are a completely separate entity now.
Okay.
The federal government decided that you shouldn't be providing services and also be kind of the administrator of the resources that are available out there. So we split for that reason. Okay. And MARCA is its own entity. They are just one of I think we have 50 providers here in our community doing different things depending on the needs. So, we have transportation providers. The community seems to be really aware of the name RAM, and that's one of our providers. They provide housing and transportation. We have Wings of an Angel, who provides transportation. Bless does housing. So lots and lots of providers. MARCA is one of those.
Okay.
We are not MARCA.
Okay.
But the people that are at MARCA are served by the County Board of DD. So they're still receiving case management or, other additional needs that they come to us with, and we support them in those ways.
I think one of the things about having them once a month is you've had people on I never even knew anything about it when you think of...
right? I mean, that is what I've been there a little over a year now, and I've done lots of presentations and just trying to educate the community on who we are. And I always start it by saying, I had no clue. I had no idea. I did not know we had people working in the community. I did not know that we go out on volunteer opportunities with community integration. I didn't even know Special Olympics was part of the County Board of DD. So, I feel 90% of our community has about the same amount of knowledge as I had. So,
yeah, I think so too. And it's good to get the word out, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you're here for,
that
right?
That is right.
Right. Right. So, it's MCBDD, that's what we'll call it, right?
Correct. Or Marion County Board of DD or the county board,
Yeah. So, it serves a lot of people, doesn't it?
It definitely does. So we say that we touch the lives of about 800 people per year. And I always like to steal from Tom Quaid, who is the health commissioner here. He said, you need to change that number because that's just the person with the disability. You are helping their families and their brothers and their sisters and their caregivers. So that number really needs to be multiplied by 4, 5, 8, So, but as far as the people with developmental disabilities that we help on an annual basis, it's about 800 people.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and some of those, it's not a case management every month kind of thing. Some of the people just need one thing. They may need, a ramp built for a new home that they're in, or the door frames aren't wide enough. So we can help with those kinds of things. But they don't need case management. They live independently in the community and do a great job of that on their own. So we have about 400 on our caseload. Okay, so about half of that, we're touching in with them, contacting them at least once a month and just kind of saying, how are things going? And if they have issues or complaints, we work through the system and the resources with them and try to get those problem solved.
So they may not need continuous care, just maybe one time, right?
Right. Yeah. So today, if you go to our Facebook page, it's Luke's birthday today. He is 4 years old today.
Okay.
And he is a wonderful success story of our early intervention. Something else I had no idea about, but early intervention focuses on birth to 3-year-old developmental issues. Help Me Grow is actually the intake of those referrals. And then when they have developmental needs, they contact us and we work with Help Me Grow. So that's a great partnership. And Luke has muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And he was born, obviously, well, he was premature, and then, he had some lung issues, so he spent some time in the NICU. And then he had mobility issues. He wasn't walking. He was still like kind of army crawling at a year old. And so they got him started with therapies and our early intervention and Help Me Grow. And they caught him right up. And it's great because at 3 years old, he entered into the school system for preschool and all of that good stuff in River Valley.
Okay.
And Luke is not using our services right now with muscular dystrophy.
Really?
The school is now that lead to provide his services, and the therapies that he's getting there are enough. And his mom said he's focusing on speech right now. So that's kind of their next challenge that they're trying to tackle. So he's saying some short phrases and, he repeats some things, but that's more, their communication is kind of what they're focused on right now. But, obviously with muscular dystrophy, it will affect his muscles, and down the road, Luke will likely need us again someday. But right now he doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's a great partnership. It's great for those people paying those tax dollars to understand that was a really small investment early, and now Luke is being supported by the schools.
Yeah. Very cool.
Love that.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Who knew,
right?
No one.
It says one out of 20 kids receive, 20 children receive early intervention.
That was kind of crazy. So just in that little 0 to 3-year-old window, one of every 20 children are receiving services from the County Board of DD.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy. That's a high number if you think about it. Yeah.
And what's cool about that, 1 in 20, only 50% of them continue needing services from us.
Okay.
So, So, half of them, they catch up and we never see them again, or we don't see them until later in life. And, they get that little, it's so critical that, how kids are. They just are sponges. They soak it all in. They can really learn a lot in that small amount of time. They're really good little sponges. They're not distracted like we are. So.
Right, sure. Right.
So, great investment.
Now, you have over 100 athletes in Special Olympics, right? And that was, you had them in here a couple months ago. That was fun, actually.
That's my day.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. The energy that the people we serve have, and they know they have abilities. That's what's so cool. And when the community starts to see that they have abilities, that's when it gets even cooler. And that is happening. People are we're getting more people integrated into the community, more people who are getting jobs. You do have to be creative sometimes. You have to find the people that we serve, their strengths. Some of them don't like to talk. Some of them don't like people. Some of them can't walk. They're in a wheelchair. So what? They can still work.
Sure, right.
You know? So we're finding those opportunities and really thrilled about that.
Yeah. So. It was fun having them in because they really love to talk about their sport and what they do.
They do.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah,
right. over and over.
The one girl we had, you talked about transportation. She works, and transportation was provided for her back and forth to work.
Is she at Rural King?
She's at Rural King. Yeah, yes, Catherine. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great success story. Yeah. And actually, Wings of an Angel needs a big shout out for that as well, because she had to be at work at 5:00 in the morning. That was the problem with transportation. Lots of these providers of transportation, they don't start their workday at 5:00 in the morning. Right. So Wings, I think it was 4:00. She lives in she's out far.
Yeah.
I think it's LaRue or one of the outskirts of Marion County. So it's not like it's a 5-minute jaunt. They had to get out the door at 4:00 to go get Catherine and bring her into Rural King to work. And great success story.
It is. And they both
that's how it's supposed to work.
Bring her and pick it and bring her home too, right? Take her and bring her home. Wow.
Sure do. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. See, I didn't know about any of that either.
I know. I know, right?
I know.
I love to educate you, Randy.
And I'm glad that you do. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, 100 athletes. If someone hasn't checked out Special Olympics, they need to do that. It's a lot of.
You do.
Yeah.
And we do try to put the sporting events on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
We're finishing up the softball season, and now we're starting basketball. And the sports are held at our facility. So we are out on 309 where they're building the overpass, like kind of by the intermodal.
Right.
And the Marca building is out there as well. But and it's kind of by the senior center. Everybody knows where the senior center is.
Sure.
So look for some events, and they're free to the public, and they're very, very fun to watch.
And they compete down in Columbus.
Oh, yeah. They go all over. I mean, anywhere where other counties have Special Olympic teams that we can compete again. They go all over. I know they went to Toledo for their last couple of soccer games.
Okay.
And won them both. I mean, not soccer, softball.
And a lot of these athletes play more than one sport.
Oh, yeah.
And they were,
yeah.
I had one gentleman listen. He plays basketball and all soccer and all this stuff.
Yeah. And I think Michael was one that you had in here, Michael Emboden, and we just had a 5K. We had a bunch of people that we serve. Team Heart and Soul came in and kind of made sure that everybody who wanted to run in the presidential 5K that was done by the YMCA could run. So even if you're in a wheelchair, you can run because someone's going to push you.
Yeah.
And it was just a really rewarding day. Michael Emboden ran the 10K and won it.
Are you kidding me?
Ran the whole thing and 10K. Won it. Yes,
good for him. Good for him.
I brought up the rear in the 5K.
Did you?
FYI, the golf cart was behind me with a little light and speed it up a little.
But he ran the 10K and won it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's
cool?
fantastic. That is really cool, man.
I know, I loved it. So we're able. We are able.
Right. Exactly. What else is going on?
So, there is this little, I'd like to talk a little bit about this little piece of paper that seems to be running around and telling everybody not to support the County Board of DD.
I've seen that, yes.
So I want to kind of bring attention to that,
Yeah.
and kind of talk about some of the items that are on there. And I just want to educate. So be clear that I am not telling anyone which way, because I'm not allowed, because I'm kind of on the clock.
Yeah.
But I do just want to educate. That's the whole reason to be on the air. So we are asking for a 2.95 continuous levy for a $100,000 home. That's going to be about $100 per year impact.
Okay.
So that is truth. That is on the sheet. Okay. That much is true. Then they also talk about the fact that since it is a continuous levy, it never goes away, which is true. But we're not going away.
Yeah.
People with developmental disabilities, we have increased our caseload since 2014, 53%. The need is not going away. So do you want this to show up and have to renew it every 5 years? Because we already have some of those. And it's very frustrating. And you have to spend money on this stuff when you don't really have. Just vote for it once. It's there. And then we get to support the people that just need a tiny bit of help,
Sure. Right.
So that one I wanted to kind of touch on. It's true. It is continuous. It is forever. The renewals, thank goodness, and thank you, Marion County, have passed regularly, which is wonderful. But isn't it annoying that you have to see it every couple of years on the ballot,
Oh, yeah.
Let not be annoyed, So we're trying to just get that through once and then live fiscally responsibly off of those funds. So we also have our top 3 salaries that are listed on this sheet, and that's all public record. I'm sure they got that from the auditor's office. It is inflated because it does include like the payout of sick leave, all the insurance, so that's not really like her paycheck or any of the paychecks, but it is the package, with everything included. But what you need to know is levy dollars are not paying 100% of these salaries. We are here because state and federal mandates put a county board of DD in every single county in the state of Ohio to make sure that people have health and safety that need it. They get that extra resource that they need. So we're here because the state and federal government tell us to be here. Well, they support that with offsetting those salaries. So 72% of the salaries that are listed on this sheet are covered by federal and state dollars. So only 28% of our superintendent's salary is actually funded locally through levy dollars.
Okay.
So that is something that is not pointed out here.
And before you continue, let's take a break. We'll talk about it more when we come
Sounds
back.
great.
We'll be
Thanks.
back with
Perfect
Nikki
timing.
Workman from the we were going to call it the MCBDD now, right? Correct?
You got
We'll
it.
be back after this.
Thanks, Randy.
Welcome back to Morning Magazine. My name is Randy Bigley. We're talking with Nikki Workman. Nicole, I call you Nikki or Nick?
Nikki.
I've always called you Nikki.
My mom would appreciate Nicole, but I'm a Nikki.
But I've known you for so long, I just call you Nikki. From NCBDD, right? Is that? Yes, that's what we'll call it. Is that what you like to get out there, NCBDD?
Yeah, or Marion County Board of DD. I mean, I feel like MCBDD doesn't mean any. I hate acronyms. You know, they don't mean anything. But it is probably the quickest way to say our name, or the county board, Board of DD. So.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So you were talking. We were kind of debunking some of these things that people probably seen these papers passed around. Like you said, they're everywhere, all around the community, stuck different places and stuff. And there's some things on there that aren't quite truthful.
Well, they're not. They're not false, and they're not true. You know what
false,
I mean?
but they're
tell
kind of
just a tiny bit of the story.
Kind of not fake or false, but kind of mislead you in different ways. Is what I want to say. That's how I want to phrase
and
that.
I don't want to. We've had enough of that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Just know that the state and the federal government do offset our salaries. We do bill back for a lot. We are in an administrative role by nature. We are to administer resources and also make sure providers are providing health and safety. So our goal is not to be in the thick of things. It is to oversee.
Okay. Yeah.
So by nature, we're an administrative entity. So our administrative costs are high.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So when someone needs help, you kind of point them in the right direction.
Absolutely. So it's funny. People will call in and they'll be like, the library actually called in and said, we'd like to have a dyslexia expert come out and talk at the library. And I'm like, there's so many diagnoses. We're really not experts in any of them, but we know how to find the resources and the experts in those diagnoses. So if someone needs help who has dyslexia, we can help them. We can get them the help that they need. So that's kind of our main role. We are just, connecting those resources and funding when we need to. And
that's a tough thing, man. I suffer from, I'll see letters all different kinds of different ways sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have to, when I type stuff off, it's got to be a certain way because I'll see, I've always been that way. It
just transposes?
It does, yeah.
Oh, that would be
Numbers
so hard.
So
how do you even work through that? I mean...
I just have to. I just work through it. Good thing a lot of things are recorded.
Yeah, that's why you're a radio guy,
but
right?
Yeah, but I've worked through that my whole life. I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When you have to read all the time in your job.
Right. Yeah, I'll see letters different ways. I'll see words that are completely strange.
Wow.
yeah, it's a weird thing, but no, I know what you're going.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of we're not really experts, but we can definitely get you in touch with the right people. We've got lots of resources.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, but like that, I mean, different things that people don't realize.
Yep. Yeah, we can help with that. Autism is a very popular diagnosis that we seem to be getting these days. It's so all over the board, and there's so many different levels of ability with autism. We actually had a mom who she was frustrated with the lack of support and started an independent group. They meet at the county board on Thursday evenings from 6 to 8. So, and it's called the Autism Support and More group. They do have a Facebook page and they do meet at the county board of DD. And we are now, starting with September, providing childcare too. Okay. So you can bring your children and you can get a couple hours of a break and discuss resources or what struggles you have. And there may be a parent in there that had the same struggles and can tell you how they worked through it, or they can connect you with some resources. So that's a really cool thing that a group started independent of us. We do have a lack of resources right now, and she's like, I'm going to take this into my own hands. And she's gotten some great speakers in and has done a ton of work. I mean, tirelessly, and I'm hoping that group will grow. So if this sounds like something that may fit you, it does not have to be autism. If you have any type of developmental disability child of any age and you just want a place to go to talk and see what what the autism group and more is all about, check them out. So
yeah, they're a good group. I've had them on. We had Autism Awareness Month a couple months ago. What month is that? I can't remember. It's
April.
April, yes.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so we're able to feature them every week. So yeah.
Oh, that's
great,
awesome.
great group. Right?
Yeah, well, great. Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are resources out there. We can connect you to those types of things, and that's a good one that you might want to check out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. All right, yeah. Anything else on that you want to talk about?
Well, we talked off air.
Yeah.
I always love to tell stories.
Oh,
because
yeah, right.
I feel like those are things that people remember. So we do have a department that does community employment, and I think that's very important for Marion County residents to understand and know, because you are providing the resources somewhat. We do get some state funding from this as well, but to get people jobs.
Yeah.
So then the people with developmental disabilities are actively involved in our community and giving back. They are contributing just like anyone else. But I love the story of this gentleman named Connor. So he has autism, and he was supported by the schools and his family his entire life. He really never used our services. But because he was diagnosed before the age of 22, he could use our services at any point in time. Well, he had gotten himself a couple of jobs, and he didn't like them. They weren't rewarding. So he finally came to us, and he's like, I need a little bit of help. So I've got autism, and I don't really enjoy people all that much, but I'm looking for something rewarding and a job that I can have long term. So he comes to us and does a skills assessment. So we do that with everyone because we want them to be placed in something they want to do. So he said, I'm okay with janitorial. I'm okay with maybe computer, like data entry work. I just don't really want to be around people. So
I know how I feel sometimes.
yeah, right. You like your little box sometimes.
Right, yeah.
So we did a skills assessment. We filled out a bunch of applications with Connor, and then we took him around and kind of just checked in on a lot of those applications. Well, JAG Healthcare here locally has a facility called Harding Point, and they needed a janitor. So turns out they ended up hiring Connor.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And he was doing great, but the employees of JAG Healthcare were noticing that Connor was very friendly with residents.
Oh,
he talked to them a lot.
Yeah.
He got to know them. He was helpful. And they're like, Connor, are you sure you don't want to work with people? 'Cause you're kind of good at people. And they're like, nope, right. I'm perfectly happy, he kept saying. So it took him a few months, I guess, to convince him. But they have an STNA program right there in their facility. It was free to him to take. And they kind of said, Connor, if you don't like it, you've got no risk here. If you don't like it, you can go back to being a janitor. But if you do, you have an STNA and you can get a raise.
Yeah.
So they finally convinced him, and he took it. He passed. Connor is now an STNA, and he likes people.
See, there you go. That's a
Right?
great story.
I love that story. And you know why I love it? Because he got a tiny bit of help from the County Board of DD, and now they saw the ability in Connor. They saw it, and they nurtured it.
Yeah.
And now he's doing great.
That's a great story, man.
I love that story.
You love sharing these stories, don't you?
Oh, my gosh, so much.
So that's a cool part of your job.
It is the best.
Yeah.
So that to kind of lead into more stories, just so if people want to explore on their own and educate themselves a little bit more on the County Board of DD, because at the end of the day, it's all about education. You need to know who we are and what we do so that you can make an informed decision about whether or not you want to support us. We have a website, and I was telling Randy off air, it's kind of static. It doesn't have a ton. It's got stories on there and information, and you can visit that at marioncountydd.org. That is our webpage. But if you want to see the real stories, go to our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, our Instagram. We have stories daily out there. And I mean, we focused on our employees, so you learn about who helps the people. We have focused a lot. In March, it was DD Awareness Month. So in March, for every day for 31 days, we told a different story about a person.
I remember when you did that. Yeah.
And that was like the best. I mean, me running around like crazy, just interviewing all these people and taking pictures and talking to their families. Amazing. I mean, the ability and the happiness with the people that we serve, it gives you pride to know you're working for an organization that is helping them achieve that success.
You guys are, you had all that construction over there with the new overpass. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. And honestly, they've done a great job, like with flow and traffic, and we're not having a ton of stops except for the train, obviously, still.
Yeah, right,
so
sure.
the whole reason we're doing that overpass. So we're pretty excited about that because it will be very nice. You know, it's funny. We'll have meetings sometimes, and we'll all be sitting in the conference room, and we can see the traffic start to line up.
Oh, yeah. I've been in that traffic lineup.
Yeah. And you know there's supposed to be 6 more people at that meeting, and they're on the other side of the train.
Yeah, right.
You know, so we're like, well, we'll give them 10 minutes and see if they're working their way around.
Right, sure.
So we're happy the construction is happening because it's going to be something good.
It is. It's very good. Very good for our community. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, thanks for coming and sharing those great stories with us.
Sure,
yeah.
anytime. I love to do it.
I think people need to hear that. I think unless you're touched by that, unless you have a family member or yourself that needs the services, you don't really think about it, do you?
It's true. And we talked about that a little bit off air, that, I mean, I'm embarrassed to say myself, I would vote for the levies, but I didn't really support them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, financially, yes, but did I care after that? No, not really.
Right.
And I'm embarrassed at that. Now that I've met all these amazing people and amazing families and see their struggles and their fight and their worry, it's real and it doesn't end for them, you know? So one tiny little box that you can check in November, it really is detrimental or a great reward for your friends and neighbors who don't just get to walk away and never think of it again until the next time. So, huge impact for just a tiny little bit of effort by our entire community.
So now you're like, man, I didn't realize all this was going on. But when you meet these people and talk to them and see how they've been helped, I mean, it's rewarding. It's rewarding, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can see those stories again, not to harp on the social media, but that's where, we put a lot of efforts in just because it is very cost effective to tell those stories in that way. And, sometimes on our social media resources right now, the stories are not always fun. Like I find myself hiding lots of people that are my friends, I'll admit. You will not hide us. You will enjoy, you will get a smile, you will learn something, you will find out that you actually may know a person of a person. And that makes it a little bit more personal. So stop by and check out our Facebook page, and you can just search Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and that'll take you right to us, and give us a like and follow us.
Yeah. And make sure you research. I mean, somebody has questions, just ask, right? If you see that paper going around and you want to know if that's true or not, just ask.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, my superintendent said that yesterday. Cheryl Plaster is her name, and she said, I have all of the numbers. I can show people my exact package, how much of it is being covered by the state, and how much is being funded locally. I'm happy to sit down and just clear that stuff up. We want you to be educated. We want you to learn, and we want you to really understand what we do. So,
and we do that like when I have the United Way and all that, and we talk about too. If there's any questions, just ask.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you see something or read something and you want to know if it's true, ask.
It's so true. Yeah. And when this time of year, it's so hard to know what is the truth and what to believe.
You're bombarded with so much stuff.
So much.
I mean, we haven't even started really with all the political things, but all the political, but it'll be hitting. It's coming.
Lucky you.
You'll have one commercial telling you to do something and one telling you not to do something.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. I believe you, and then I believe you, and you're both talking about the same person.
Right, exactly. So encourage people, do your own research.
Yes,
right?
Definitely, please. Right. That's all we ask.
Wow. So this will be available on podcast, so you'll be able to listen to this here, and
we'll post it. We'll post it on
I appreciate you doing that, too.
Oh, absolutely.
So where's that also posted?
So we put it on our Facebook page, and then we haven't found a way to put it on our website yet, but it will be on the Facebook page. We also do have a levy page, and it's Friends of DD. It'll be there as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikki. It's always good to talk to you. I always enjoy when you come in.
Wonderful. Right? We love being here.
Thanks.